We are coming to you live here from the Enterprise Connect event in Orlando at the Gaylord Palms Hotel. I'm Terry Sweeney, I'm contributing editor to NoJitter, and joining me now is Savinay Berry. Savinay, thank you so much for joining us.
Absolutely. Good
you,
to
of
be
course,
here.
are Executive Vice President, Product Engineering for Vonage,
Yep.
and really appreciate your time here. For viewers who may be new to the concept that you've been popularizing, help us better understand what low-code, no-code is and how it fits into the unified communications market.
Loaded question there. Okay.
Well, a lot
Awesome.
to
a lot to unpack.
Let's
hey,
dive in.
First of all, let me just say thanks for having me over here.
Of course.
You guys do a great job. It's a good place to be.
Appreciate
over
you being
Enterprise
here.
Connect, and it's a good vibe. So thanks for having me over here. Look, I think low-code, no-code solutions, that buzzword has been around for a very long time.
Sure.
And it's really about trying to make sure you can apply it to something very practical that has business value associated with it. And that's what we focus on, right? So if you, let me take a really simple example. Of course, the buzzword these days is around ChatGPT and conversational AI and what it means for a lot of people. But the concept of enabling chatbots and concept of enabling conversational AI has been around for a while. So how do you do that? How do you create the actual conversation flow? You have to use something to create that flow, right? You have to have some sort of a flow diagram where it says you press 1 to do this, here's an action, here press 2 to do this, here's an action, or potentially even using different messaging channels. So maybe you go down a voice route, maybe you go down a messaging route, maybe you go down a video route. That paper or that diagram itself has to be put on some solution. That solution is the low-code, no-code solution, which enables anybody. It doesn't have to be a developer. It could be a product lead, product manager, a solution consultant. It could be anybody. Could be able to drag and drop these components. We call them nodes and parameters and entities, which can be pulled together and then create this kind of conversation flow with all the embedded functions which come as part of it. You don't have to code anything at all.
Okay. What has been the historical challenge here? Take a deeper cut, if you would, at what low-code, no-code is really trying to address.
Well, the biggest challenge has been how do you enable those applications at scale, which also need to be customized at the last 10% or so. So they're not off-the-shelf applications. They're not a traditional UC application or a CC application you can just deploy, because there's a fair amount of changes that are needed based on your environment, your integrations. You might have a CRM integration on the back end. You might have some applications you need to embed it in. All of those things are required, right? So the biggest challenge it's solving is anybody can build an application which can be customized at that last 10% and be embedded in an existing workflow of the enterprise or the small business.
Saves time, fosters innovation, makes them more competitive.
100%.
Okay.
100%. Yeah, for sure. And it creates real business value. And you don't need to have an army of developers doing the work for you.
So you've kind of addressed a little bit my next question, which is the benefit to the developer community. Obviously, time to develop is vastly shortened.
Yeah.
What are some of the other benefits?
Yeah, it's a kind of an ironical thing, right? When you say to a developer, it's a no-code solution, so the developer's like, hold on a second, are you taking my job away? Because I'm supposed to be the one coding, right? So the conversation becomes interesting, and what you sort of realize is you're taking away the mundane tasks that a developer will need to do. You're taking away all of those repetitive things, like the integrations, like the flow connections, like the rules, which are, they're interesting, but they're not the complex things that need to be done by a developer. So what the developers end up doing is they end up focusing on the really difficult logic, which needs to be enabled for an application to work. So it works really well with a combination of allowing developers to focus on the really hard problems while simplifying a lot of the repetitive things and creating applications which are so much easier.
Tell us a bit about Vonage's its own low-code, no-code offering, and maybe some of the elements that make it noteworthy.
Absolutely. So we've had our own low-code, no-code solution. It's called AI Studio, which is in the market now for the past year or so. And prior to that, we were using it to build our own conversational AI platform and sell it alongside our CC solution, which was being extremely successful. But what we did was we democratized that then. So we took out that platform and then we put it out in the market and we said, this is our AI Studio solution, which is our no-code, low-code solution. And more recently, actually, just in this Enterprise Connect show, we announced what's called the AI Acceleration Suite, which is a combination of the no-code, low-code solution plus some solutions or pre-packaged solutions which can be used by customers. Think campaign management, think meetings functions. So these are pre-built templates that are built on leveraging some of the low-code, no-code capabilities, and we package them all together into what we're calling this AI Acceleration Suite, which has gotten some really good traction from our customers.
So just a point of information around AI. It's obviously become a hugely popular marketing term. I'm wondering if, from your perspective, do customers expect suppliers and service providers to be active in that space, either with words and marketing verbiage and of course actual technology? It feels like it's overused a lot and of course also not really well understood.
Yes. Yes, so it's kind of like cloud, right?
Sure.
People used to talk about cloud in the early 2000s, but it wasn't until almost 2020 where the concept of cloud really got immersed in every single thing that we are doing. And AWS became what it became, and the hyperscalers became what it became, right? So over time, it took almost 20 years. So the concept of AI, yes, it's been a buzzword, but I do think we're at an inflection point where you have things like ChatGPT now coming in and large language models, which is going to be a massive accelerator to making tangible use cases leveraging AI. Now, we've been in that business for some time, so we see it. I, being a product guy, one of the things that I want to do is make sure that if we put out something, there's real customer value behind it, there's real tangible benefits behind it, versus just a buzzword that has absolutely no meaning for a customer.
Sure. That's really helpful and great perspective on that. What about an organization looking to decide if low code, no code is right for them? What advice do you have for them about getting started there?
It's a good question. So I'd say, first of all, look at what your requirements are for building applications which otherwise you're having trouble doing, but whether it's because you don't have enough developers or you have, the macro environment is tough right now. So if you've retrenched and now you need to still do the business, so you do need to do some integrations with your CRM capabilities, maybe you need to build a conversational app or a chatbot or something like that. Look at those things and look at the resources you have. If there's a disconnect between the two, look at a no-code, low-code solution. Because that might be a good way to start, and it can be done by people who don't write code, and they can build out applications, deploy them as well in production, and be able to test it out. And if it works, then scale it, because you might be surprised on the number of capabilities you get as a result of that.
In that same vein, AI is often used synonymously with automation.
That's right.
I imagine you might also dig down with customers around what is it you're looking to do with AI?
That's right.
It may or may not be automation.
Yep.
What do you find there?
We find, a lot of different use cases. One of the more important ones is about how you talk to your end customers. So if you are in a retail business, if you're an insurance business or anything, you're obviously talking to your end customers. How do you know which channel you want to reach out to them with? How would they communicate back to you? How would you get a conversation started with them over messaging versus just a one-way notification you send to them? How would you know what their behavioral identity might look like? Like, do they want to respond back on a Monday versus a Tuesday versus something else? So it's the intelligence behind the user data, which is really helpful to surface these moments, and these moments can be used for connecting with those end customers, and that's where AI comes in.
It also starts to filter the serious inquiries from those who are just checking the box around AI.
Exactly, and then of course, I mentioned ChatGPT earlier, but the concept of communicating with your end customers as a chatbot, chatbots were in a pretty bad shape for a long time. It felt very robotic, right? That's why it was called a bot, not a human, not a chat human, it was a chatbot, so it felt very robotic. But now with the large language models, the human interface I think is going to start changing as well. And combine that with some of the vertical data models that exist in contact center space and other places, you're going to see a massive change in the way that customers will be able to talk to companies at scale.
Great stuff, Savine. Thank you so much for walking us through some of the finer points of low-code, no-code, as well as AI in the marketing ecosystem.
Awesome. Sounds
Thanks
good.
for joining
Thanks
us.
for having me. Yeah, appreciate it.
Thanks for doing the NoJitter News Desk.
Yeah.